like, so this is my tent that I've been staying in to get really closer to God. Hey guys, so this is me, like, I'm just trying to get away from the world, spend time with God, and just trying to really focus in on everything. And God's been with me ever since. And this is the most freedom and most peace I've ever experienced. I mean, there's times where I'm like, like, but for the most part, I'm enjoying it. Been on this spiritual journey. It not been easy, but like, who am I to complain? It's raining. It's not as light as it is outside, so it's kind of dark. I felt God put on my heart to talk about like identity, because we definitely have an identity crisis going on, and a lot of people are lost within themselves because they're in the world and they're lost, like lost sheep gone astray, being deceived by the enemy. And no one can, like, if you want to know who you are, just go to God. Like, He's the one who created you through Jesus Christ. He knew you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. He's the one who's gonna write your story. All you have to do is give your heart to Him. Open up your heart and let Him in. He's not gonna barge in. Like, you have to welcome Him in and accept Him in and have that genuine, true relationship with Him. That's a lot of things that people lack, is that they don't have a true relationship with God. They're not genuine, and because they're too busy trying to be righteous or perfect or good in everyone else's eyes, even in their own eyes, and they're deceiving themselves. And that's one thing I can really respect about my God through Jesus Christ, because we can be real, and He's gonna be real with you. And honestly, we do got identity crisis. For a long time, I didn't know who I was, or I thought I knew who I was. And I just want to say, like, oh my goodness, caterpillar. I don't like those bugs, but like, a lot of times God's writing our story, and it's already been written. It's not something that we can be erased. All you have to do is just let Him in and give your life to Him, like I have. And I just been on this spiritual journey ever since, and I have not wanted to look back. I have not wanted to go back to the world or go back in the world, and that rope is just easy. But basically, to address the identity crisis, just ask God who you is. Like, don't listen to man no more. Of how are they gonna know who you are, and they don't even know who they are. Like, people want to say, "Oh, she's confused" or "He's confused." If you don't know who you are, they're the ones who are confused. If they don't know who they are, that's confusing. So even if it seems wrong in front of in everyone else's eyes, or maybe even seems wrong to you, but if you know from here, and God's telling you that that's who you are, be who you are. It says, come to God as you are. Be real. Be who you are. Let God shape you into who you really are. Don't be fake. Ask God who you is, and He's going to reveal to you who you are. And maybe there's been clues or mysteries, And if you come to God and God's trying to tell you who you are and you're not comfortable with it, of course you're going to be uncomfortable with it, because it feels like a foreign stranger living inside you. Like, even I'm stepping into who I am, and it's not, I'm not used to it. Like, you just have to get used to it. You just have to trust the process, And that's another reason why I feel like I was called to come out into the wilderness, into isolation, because I notice when I'm around people, it's hard to really be that person who I am. So right now I'm taking that time to practice. Like, isolation is not always bad, like everyone makes it seem, Like, oh, it's not. Sometimes it's a calling from God. Oh, that caterpillar. Anyways, sometimes isolation is the time of growth. Like a seed that's in the dark, and it has to grow out of the darkness, come out of the darkness to come into the light. By in that time, it's forming and growing. And, I still consider myself a baby Christian, but not really. Now I feel like I'm like a taller Christian, but I'm still growing. Like, now I'm starting to sprout and see the light. but there's still some stuff I need to grow out of. And sometimes to grow out of it, you have to be in isolation. Like, let God prune you, mold you, do whatever He needs to do. And yeah, it's a painful process. Sometimes I feel like I'm in like purgatory, but that process is needed to push that development that you need. And it's not always a bad thing. You just gotta take this time for prayer, petition, to practice your faith. This is the time to get close to God, because now you don't have to worry about distractions. You don't have to worry about what people's like perception will put onto you, because a lot of times advice is people's own perception, and that's a delusion. That's not true for you. So that's why a lot of people don't know who they are, or they're having an identity crisis, because the perception that people see of themselves, that's already a lie, they project it onto you. So the only true source to go to know who you really is, it's not the world, it's not man, but it's God, the direct source Himself, the one who created you. Like, I remember someone told me this, and it stuck with me. Like, the animals, the little insects, even the ones we can't see, like with our naked eye, they all know their purpose. Man, who are actually greater than all the beasts and animals and sea creatures and the little insects, who are greater and more wiser intelligent, how is it that we don't know our purpose and we don't know who we are, but the rest of God's creation does? You see? So the only person to go to is God, through Jesus Christ, to find out who you really is. To stop having an identity crisis. And just come to Him as you are. He's either going to enhance who you really is already, or He's going to shed off those layers of who you thought you were, but you really weren't that person. It's like He's writing your story. It's like you've been playing the wrong character for a long time, for too long. It's time to step into your real role. It's time to stop playing that character. And for me, I played the character where I was like a baby, I was like a little girl. And there's some other stuff that I'm starting to realize that I started questioning it, like as God revealing it to my heart and revealing it like who I really am. And that's gonna be another video, but I'm really stepping into who I really am. Like, I've noticed, like, I'm working on my voice, not sounding like that little girl. I do not want to sound like that little girl. Like, I had a lot. I still got a lot to work through. And it almost seems like it's impossible, but God's bringing me out with it. You just have to trust Him and give Him time, and with patience. And trust that the process He started it, and it will be finished with Him through Jesus Christ. And you're not done. And there's hope. He's the only hope. Jesus Christ is the only hope. Just give your life to Him. Get baptized. And work on your faith. Like, while I'm in the wilderness, this is the time for me to work on my faith. When the Israelites were brought out of Egypt, that was their time to work on their faith. And what kept them from going into the promised land, what kept them from moving forward, is their lack of belief. Them not believing. Them not having faith. It's like God would do something for them to show that He's real, and they would just turn around and spit in His face. And I know better than the Israelites. No one's better than the Israelites. But what helps us to overcome the Israelites is what I've noticed. There's times, I've been ungrateful and I've complained. All of us have. But that's why He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, because He already knew it was going to be like that. We would have been doomed. But because of His grace and mercy, that's what helps us to overcome and get past being like the Israelites. Like, to make progress, because He knows who we really are. He knows who we really become, because through His grace and mercy. And because of God's grace and mercy, I have the opportunity to become the person that I really am. And I'm so much more thankful and humble. Yeah, I'm not there yet, but I have hope that I'll get there. So stop listening to what the world's telling you who to be. You're not even going to know who you are. I feel like that's one thing God left out in creating us, so we can find our way back to Him. Like, we're lost sheep, gone astray. If we're lost, how are we going to know who we are? Come back to the Father and let Him tell you who you really are. And yes, at first it's going to be uncomfortable. And yes, people are going to be like, But you just gotta be strong and use that time in the wilderness to build yourself up. It's like building yourself up to fight this good war, to fight this good battle. Because every day, it's a fight. See, the Israelites had to fight to get to the promised land. You know, just like the invisible enemy that we can't see, that we know is there but we can't see. We gotta this is spiritual warfare. We gotta fight to come into the land of blessings, to come into the promised land of God's promises and blessings. And another thing, God had always provided. They didn't need or want nothing. Even the little that they had, that He provided, they still didn't need for nothing. God will always provide. And He's provided for me, even though at times where sometimes we don't realize that we're complaining. Sometimes we don't realize we're ungrateful because of the overwhelm and the overwhelmness of our mind and the stress. But I'm not making an excuse. But sometimes we just have to take a step back, breathe, and just give thanks to God and for His love and His mercy and His grace. Because if it wasn't for His love and grace and mercy, like I said, we would be no better than the Israelites. None of us would. Because if that was true, He wouldn't have to send His Son, Jesus Christ. We're all sinful, and we could just we like to use the Israelites as an example of like what not to be. But we all know at one point of time we've been like them. Whether it was our life before Christ or just coming to know Christ. When He called us out of the world to be free. I'm free. And I want to continue that. And I want to spread this message. And let everyone know there's hope. And there's only hope in Jesus Christ. Even when it doesn't feel like it. When you feel like your back is against the wall. He's the God of comfort. And sometimes God will pit us against the wall. So we don't have nowhere else but to run to Him. And I feel like I'm in a situation like that. Like it's either you got to fight and push through. Or you gotta stay stuck and keep going in a circle in the wilderness. And I don't want to stay stuck and circle in the wilderness. I want to move forward. I want to enter into the land of God's promises and blessings. So I know that I have to keep pushing. I have to fight. I can't give up. It's either you fight or be defeated. And I don't want to keep being defeated because I know if I go back to Egypt, if I keep accepting defeat, it's going to destroy me. So that was the message that God put on my heart for the identity crisis. Go to Him if you don't know who you are. And He will let you know who you are. Because He's revealing to me who I really am. And it may not seem right to everyone else, but it's really who I am. And it's been buried by the lies and the opinions of others and their thoughts and what they think is right. Because sometimes I'd rather be real but look wrong than to live a life that look right but live in a lie. You know?